Hi, I'm Ken Wentworth and with Blackhawk, and I've been in the industry a long time and been with Blackhawk for 13 months now. I'm a Seattle guy, and they asked me to come down and support the national accounts in Southern California. So primarily call on national accounts, Megit accounts, and applied composites. So 6 locations, spent most of the year doing implementation and bringing these guys up to speed, adding vending machines. Now we're getting to the point where it's time for cost savings. So in asking how I find cost savings with these large accounts, typically I go right to Halo. So Halo is going to kick out what my profit margin is per manufacturer. So once I run that, you can look at top down is my strategy. So who's got the most spend, where I can get the most leverage, so we can reach out to that manufacturer and say, does this qualify for a contract? Is there special pricing? What else can we do to drive the price down? I'll usually go to the main manufacturer first and give him a chance to retain his business. If not, I'll bring in another AD partner or use ToolFab or Express Plus and get a more profitable line in there. So then we'll quote it and come up with what's the price that we're going to go with. Customers will usually anything under 10%, they see it as a waste of time. So we look at 10% savings for them and make sure we're collecting a bunch of GP for ourselves, right? So if we're going to go through all this, if we get a contract for them, we get rewarded for that. No other distributors doing that. We're the ones taking the time to do that. So that's how we start to find the information. As far as results for gross margin rate with these customers, because I spent most of the year implementing, and now these guys, some of these take a while. So they've got to sample the products, they've got to test, they've got to run test tools, and then these are large companies where they've got to get with their engineers and see if they can make changes on these products. But most of these margins, they've been able to go from, some of them were literally a non-core supplier. So by contract, we've only got 10%. And now we're taking that up to 26 to 28.5%. So next year, I'm looking for solid margin across the board with these accounts. The way that I manage those projects is typically, well, all the national accounts, we have a weekly rail call. Some of them are bi-weekly, but you have a weekly call, and the first thing, the main topic is going to be cost savings for all my accounts. So with each one, you've got a chance to list out each one of those projects and where we're at on it. Maybe I need something for them. Hey, your team hasn't gotten back to us yet, or hey, we're waiting on the manufacturer, or we're ready to go, and this stuff's being implemented. Having that, it's easy to follow up. And some of those national accounts actually also want to know what's your VAS number. So we've got them trained to look at their VAS number, and Megit, in fact, has a system called iFunnel. So they'll duplicate what I'm giving them and put it into their system. The other thing is one of my national accounts got a new materials manager on board, and I was able to make it their idea of here's what we're doing for them. And so I run a separate report for him showing his meeting their 10% versus their sales month to month. And so that guy takes that into his meeting, and now he's the hero, which is what the whole story should be, right? Well, we came up on national accounts. Once you've been implemented for 6 months, that's when cost savings start. So at that 6 months, he said, look, we need cost savings. And he was trying to be a hard ass. And he said, if we don't get them, we're going to start deducting 10% off our bills every month. So I said, well, hold on, let me go. And the cool thing is I knew that those guys had a ton of cutting tools with no contracts. So it was easy to take their biggest spend, go get contracts for them, OSG, some drill reamers. I was able to go get those contracts. I dug in and found out there was already a Norton contract that we weren't even using. So get those contracts in place and instantly start giving him those savings. You asked about the rail calls and how we design those. The company has a great structure. The national teams put together an excellent spreadsheet that manage each one of the tasks, and it could be Could be anything, but each one of the projects. So, and that really assigns who's responsible for it and where we're at. What percentage is it completed, and when's it going to be completed, and who owns it. What's cool about it is getting that ownership. Those rail calls take a lot of prep time on the front side. So once you've been doing it every week and you know that account and you're on their floor, it doesn't take as much time. I can sit there and fill the form out ahead of time and have it done. Takes me a half an hour at the most, and sit there with the customer in maximum 30 minutes. So you're not going to take a lot of their time, and you're just bing, bing, bing. It's already filled out. They don't have to wait for you to type and see if they agree with that, see if we got things to add. So because of that, they're engaged. They're going to get on that call. It's not going to drag on forever. You're not wasting their time. You get to show that you understand what's going on their floor. You know the people. You know you have projects to make them more profitable. There might be safety projects. There might be many things. So having said that you get buy-in with the customer, and then they're willing to take on their part of that project. So if you're asking me what I would say to all my fellow account managers regarding the cost savings, like get your data on the front side, use Halo. It's easy enough to pull it. Use item analysis, and you can see where the volume is or where your margin's low. So use that, and use your factory reps. So I swear by using factory reps because at the bottom line, when you give these guys savings, when you give the end user savings, it's a win-win-win to me, is what I've always said. So the factory rep wants market share. So either they can retain their business if they're going to sharpen their pencil, or it's a new supplier that wants that business. The distributor, us, we're going to be more profitable. We're either going to gain business or we're going to make that business more profitable that we own. And then the customer gets a good deal. So that's the win-win-win in my book. To me, I think the coolest thing about VAST, because every distributor's got some type of cost savings system that they put in, but VAST, Blackhawk's gone the extra mile. When you enter that into VAST, that item gets pulled every time they buy it, right from P21. So you're adding, here's the old P21 number and the price, here's the new P21 number and the price, and then that difference is calculated automatically. So you can go on to the next savings, go on to the next one. There are customers that I have on these reports that are just page after page of active savings. So it only might be a couple bucks, but month after month, by the end of the year, that item's now, $140, and the next one's $2,000 or whatever it might end up. So it all adds up, and the cool thing is that the VAST report calculates that for you. No, I'm just trying to work. Just fortunate, happy to have a nice territory, and Blackhawks kept their word on everything they promised me a year ago when I came to town and came on board, and look forward to non-COVID, getting out of the COVID ditch for sure.